Welcome, everyone. I'm Myrna Haskell, Executive Editor of Sanctuary Magazine. We have another fabulous free workshop this evening, facilitated by Mary Therese Yamamoto. She is the owner of MTY Bookkeeping, Inc., and she's going to take some time to tell you a little bit more about that during her speech and her little program that she's going to do with us today, which I know she's really, really excited about because it's something that she uses a lot herself. So I'm just going to go ahead and give you the floor, Mary Therese, and then I think you're going to open it up for some questions afterwards.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, perfect. And we just saw Miss Carol come. Welcome, Carol.
Hi. Hi, everybody. So I'm Mary Therese Yamamoto, and I work as a bookkeeper, and I've had my business up here in the Hudson Valley. I've been in business now for 17 years myself, and before that had been working for other interior design firms and in back offices in the financial field. I really enjoy working with creatives and helping them with their numbers because it doesn't really come naturally to a lot of people that are on the creative side, and it's really fun for me. So I like to help people understand their numbers better. And today I'm going to share with you a system that I use, and it's called Profit First, but I'm just going to share the basics to give you an understanding and a small outline on how it works and how it can really change your business and bring more cash flow and more clarity to your numbers. And really, I feel like it could change your business. So I'm going to share my screen. Myrna, let me share, please. And I'll get started.
Are you good? Did that work for you?
Hey, here we go. Great. All right, good. All right, so my presentation is called Make Your Money Work for You, and it's Profit First Concepts for Beginners. And this is going to just be a simple visual guide to flipping the profit formula from a traditional way of doing accounting. And this is really helpful for people that want to take control of their money and really see their profits and feel empowered. So traditional profit formulas fail most small businesses, and this is what we learned from the get-go is you have your sales minus your expenses, and that equals your profit. And it says, here's the painful truth. When profit's treated like a leftover, it almost ends up as zero. It gets spent before it's even hitting the bank account. So it's really easy to do this with this method, and I feel like there's a new way that we can really take advantage of our monies. A staggering 83% of small businesses live paycheck to paycheck, rarely seeing real profit, and not because they don't earn enough, but because the formula is broken.
Interesting. Okay.
And the profit first revolution, we say flip the formula. So the old way is sales minus expenses equal profit, and profit's the afterthought. And the new way is sales minus profit equals your expenses. And so profit's guaranteed first. By taking profit first before paying a single bill, you force smarter spending decisions and make profitability non-negotiable. It's a mindset shift that can change everything. And I'm telling you, I am proof, and I'm telling you it's been about a year and a half, and it has worked wonders for me. So I can't wait to talk more about it. And this is the psychology behind Profit First. You know, we naturally spend whatever money we see available. And so the big bank balance doesn't signal safety, it signals permission to spend more. So Profit First uses the plate method. Instead of one overflowing buffet, you divide your money into smaller portions. Each plate has a clear purpose, which limits spending naturally, no willpower required. And so it's technically portion control for your finances. Smaller plates, healthier habits. And with Profit First, you have to open a series of bank accounts that are connected to each other. The first one's going to be your income account. This is where all your deposits come into. The second one is your profit account. When you get deposits, every time you get a deposit, a percentage of that goes right into the profit. And then you have your owner's pay. That's where you're going to put the salary and draws. And then the tax account, you have a percentage that goes into the tax account so that there's no surprises at the end of the year. You already have that money saved. And then operating expenses. That's what covers all your hard costs that run your business. And so how to start? Simple steps. You just set your initial percentages. And if you can be conservative, you can say, I want to come out of this year with a 5% profit. And so you know immediately, every time you get a deposit into your account, 5% of that is being transferred to the profit account, and you hold it there. And then the other percentages, you do a dividing system that makes most sense based off what your operating expenses are first after the profit. You're going to put the heaviest amount into your operating expenses and then split the rest between the owner's draw, the tax, and the like any other side ones that you may have. So I have one. I'll share this. I have one that's my operating expenses. I have my profit first. I have my taxes. I have my owner's draw, and I have one for employee bonuses, so that I can save my employee bonuses throughout the year and not have it be such a burden at the end of the year. So people make they make their profit first accounts different plates or different envelopes, people call them, but I make sure to save up for the things that are important to my business and to myself. All right, real world impact, small business success stories. 1 million plus businesses use profit first, and it breaks that paycheck to paycheck cycle. There's a 10% profit margin, and that's achieved by a startup within 6 months by cutting unnecessary expenses. I'm telling you, this is so true, because once you do this dividing up, you really do see what your operating expenses are and where those monies are going to. So do you really need all those dues and subscriptions? Do you really need to be taking taxis or Lyfts and Ubers, or do you really need to be putting all these meals through your business? Is that really an operating expense? It's amazing how much it can really change your habits of spending in your business. And then owner well-being. Business owners report more confidence and clarity managing cash flow. I'm telling you, you really do feel empowered once you have the system working for you. Common challenges and how to overcome them. The fear of limiting expenses. So it encourages smarter spending, not just less spending. And you'll discover what truly matters in your business, as I was just saying before. Initial budget discomfort. You'll start with small incremental changes, and then you can shift your percentages gradually to build those sustainable habits over time. So if you start with that 5% profit and realize, I think I could bump this up to 10, 15%, you just have to really work with those numbers throughout the months and get those adjustments made. And then staying consistent. Automate the transfers, renew the accounts monthly. Routine creates clarity and removes guesswork. I can tell you that I do all of my transfers as they come in, but I only take money out from my profit account or do the draws every quarter. So that ensures that I'm doing right by taxes and that I do have constant cash flow and money in the bank. I'm a little conservative there. So why profit first works for beginners and non-financial people? It's simple and it's visual. It works with natural human behavior, not against it. So you see those envelopes, or you see those plates that you're putting the funds into and dividing them up. It's very rewarding, honestly. And there's no expertise required. You can focus on bank balances and allocations, not complex accounting knowledge. And then it builds discipline. It does create financial clarity and confidence without the overwhelm. So take control of your money, your profit, and your future. Start small. Open your accounts and allocate your first deposit tomorrow. Stay focused. Profit is your reward, not an afterthought. And take action. Make your money work for you, not the other way around. By starting small, most accounts or most banks do let you have one or two supporting savings or checking accounts that you can link. If you have QuickBooks, In QuickBooks Checking, you have unlimited envelopes that you can open to do this. So that's how I utilize it. And I'm happy to talk to anybody about this and how to make it work for you. So please do reach out. You can always reach me at MT@MTY Books. I love talking about money and I love helping you make it. So with that, I am going to stop the share and take some questions.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you, Mary Therese.
You're
And this
welcome.
is very good for people that are starting out too, and they don't. So maybe one of my questions for you might be for somebody who's a super startup, say first 12 to 15 months of doing business.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned the plates and putting everything in these. Now, the plates can be, I suppose, in a spreadsheet or they can be in some other type
A
of.
lot of people do keep a spreadsheet. Yeah, and you
Okay.
just have the formulas set up so you know your deposit was $1,000 and 5% of that's going to go into the one, and you can divide it that way and then do your transfers based off your spreadsheet. Yeah.
But for those folks, lots of times the profit rate doesn't really start coming in until maybe about 2 years, 2.5 years. Do you still recommend that they do this or do it,
So
do you know
I
what I'm
always
saying?
My big thing is know your numbers initially. So you really want to know how much it does cost to run your business. You have to know your hard costs. So your first year in business to 2 years in business can be a roller coaster. I would suggest this for companies that already have a solid cash background or at least solid income that they know some hard numbers on how much it is going to cost to operate. Or if they know that they're building their business to be profitable from the get-go, this is a good exercise to save some money and put it aside. Knowing
Yep.
that
Oh,
they're
I'm
always
sorry. Go ahead.
marking, that's okay. Knowing that, let's say they have a service that they mark up or a good that they have a known markup on to make sure to set this up so that they're not just losing and spending all the rest of their profits on R&D. Because once you do have some profits, it's so easy to spend it. So that's why it's good to take that little chunk out first, if
Yeah,
possible.
that's what I was going to say. So you have this idea, especially early on, the first, say, up to 5 years even, right? You have
Mhm.
an idea of what your profit might be, small or large, whatever it's going to be. But then something unexpected happened. Like COVID's a perfect example, right? A lot of small business really struggled through that in all different industries, right? And that was something unusual that happened. So do you at that point say, okay, it's an emergency, take right away off this profit just to keep your business going? Or do you tell clients to look at your plates or your jars or your sections on your spreadsheet first and see where you can chop that one down before you take from your profit plate?
So that was a really good example of how to really be disciplined in your business. COVID was because it really gave people the time to sit back and look at what they were spending. If they did take the time to do that, it really gave people the chance to look at their subscriptions. And I don't know if you remember, but people were canceling their subscriptions left and right during that period. Some were, of course, adding on some Netflix or whatnot. But COVID did bring to light what people were spending on a day to day and how much things were costing. So I think that's a good exercise. That was a good exercise in seeing how much it did cost to run a business traditionally. If I had that situation happen to me again, I would say that I would reduce the owner draws. I would probably shave percentages on the owner draw and I would shave the percentage on the profit first to supplement if I was losing income.
Okay.
I would adjust those percentages, but definitely still try to have some profit in it. It's
Okay.
definitely rewarding, and for the amount of extra work as a business owner that you do, I feel like the reward pay it's even that much better when you come out once a quarter and are able to take that draw and say, "That's right. I've been running this business. I've done it. Here we go." So.
I don't want to monopolize. I'm sorry, you guys. Karen or Carol, did you have any questions?
Not really. I thought it was a very effective presentation.
Thank you.
I, I, I do have one question. So it seems like, and I agree, it was a wonderful presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And it's a great perspective, looking at the profit first, which I like very much. It seems that it takes a little bit of setup in the beginning, especially if a person is coordinating between their bank accounts and a spreadsheet or another kind of program, just to plug in those numbers and a little bit of back and forthing. But maybe once it's set up, it's the whole system moves along. Would you say that's right?
It is. If you have a spreadsheet set up with the correct formulas, all you would have to do is plug in that deposit amount that you get, and it would do the splits for you, and then you know how much to transfer between accounts.
Gotcha.
This also works for companies that have cost of goods. So I want to let you know, let's say if you were selling, like an interior designer, for example, they bring in money and some of it's for furniture that they have to buy.
Right.
I have a whole formula to take that into account before they even do their profit first, because that furniture money is not yours at all, and it's not yours to play profit first with. So there's different situations and different businesses and models to do this with, and it's doable for all, because if you're working with cost of sales for your art or cost of sales for something like a furnishings, you do have to take that into account and deduct that from the deposit before you can do your splits. But it's just another row on a spreadsheet. It's definitely easy.
So, is this a system that you came upon and was curious about and looked into?
Yes. So I had been at a business retreat, and a couple people had been talking about it and that they had implemented it, and I thought, oh, okay, that's great. And then a new client of mine had said, I'm doing this model, it's profit first, and it's what I'm going to move on with the next, in the next year. Do you know anything about it? And I was like, I've heard of it. Let me go to the drawing board and let you know what I find. So I bought the book. It's called Profit First, and by Mike Michalowicz. And I started reading through it. And really, I mean, a lot of his book is more fluff and success stories from people, but the concept in itself is really not that hard. And it does work. So, and he gives you worksheets to work off of in it. He has a website with assistance and help on it, but I sort of have taken it and have tried to simple it down to talk more about it to help people understand it a little bit better, especially people that are not as number savvy. It's really, I've enjoyed working with it, and it's definitely changed my business. So I'd like to share thoughts about it.
Is there a business size, like a range of employees, or a business size range that this works best for?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I do know that I do it for, I'd say, 6 of my interior design clients. And those are all between 1 solopreneur and 5 employees. And then I do it for my company where there's 10 of us.
Right.
There are corporations that do use it. I don't know any corporations I've spoken to that are larger than 25 people, but I could take a look and find that out.
Yeah, just, wondering.
That's a good follow-up. That's a good follow-up, too.
Yeah.
So in your experience, Mary Therese, where are the biggest stumbles and bumbles for small business folk, like with this model on your mind?
Well,
Where do
with
they
this model,
really get, caught up, tripped up?
It brings to light how much people spend and waste. And so it's a really nice eye-opener to clean things up. So when you're in there and you realize I call it OPEX, operating expenses. When you see how much your operating expenses really do cost, it's like, oh, okay. That is a big eye-opener within the first year of doing Profit First to clean things up and just really trim the fat. Where do we really need to be spending our monies on these things? Payroll is a big expense. Some things you can't avoid. You have to pay rent, you have to pay utilities, and you have to pay, all the things that are necessary. But do you really need the dues and subscriptions? Are you dipping into your company funds to pay all of your meals when it should only be 1 or 2 meals out? So it really does help you take a look at, what you're doing in your business that could be streamlined or cleaned up a little bit.
So for like with an LLC, that's a partnership, say you have at least 10 maybe partners, for instance.
Mm.
And part of your bylaws have quite a few unreimbursed expenses that the company's not paying for directly. And then they report, their mileage, their meals, like on a trip or whatever it is that they're doing for the company. Do you find that that's a little bit more difficult to track when you have multiple people signing in with those types of expenses? Do you know what I mean?
It depends if those expenses are going to be reimbursed by the end, by the company's client. So if you know that, for example, I took, I had Ubers and taxis and airfares and meals and I submitted that expense report. Is that being billed back to another source? So that has to be taken into consideration whether or not then we know it's a hard expense that way. That does complicate things a little bit, but what happens with this is you should really be looking at the past year first to see what those hard expenses were to get your idea on what your expenses are going to be, and you build from there.
And how often should they be? I heard you say quarterly at one point, but for somebody that's just starting out with this, and you mentioned it being a visual and all of that, should they be like looking at the end of each month initially until they feel like they're finally hitting the
Absolutely. I
ground
mean,
running?
yeah, I do my transfers every morning. It's one of my exercises after I meditate. I do my little transfer, yeah, like because QuickBooks does them overnight. So I look in, okay, do I need to do a transfer? And it just becomes like something I do. It's just an exercise, and then it is exciting. You see that, okay, this is building up, this is building up. Oh, by March 30th, I'm going to, and you can, get excited about certain things you might want to splurge on, and like that's your money because you've already set aside all the money for taxes. You've set aside the money for your operating expenses, and you know that those are covered. And you even have a cushion with something else. Like I said, I have the cushion with the employee bonuses. It's important to me. I want to make sure at the end of the year everybody's taken care of. So I make sure that all those things are healthy before I do take my draw at the end of that quarter. So
And
yeah,
I think I heard you say meditate, so maybe that's another program we could do. Meditate before money. It probably
I
probably gets
love
you in the right
that. Yes.
headspace.
Yes, I love that. That's right up my alley.
Yes. Do we have anything else, ladies? We're here today. Thank you so much for coming, by the way. This was great.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
just want to tell listeners out there, because we will be posting this throughout social media and our YouTube channel, that Mary Therese is happy to answer some additional questions. So we're going to have all of her information up there, but if there's something that we didn't happen to ask, unless I'm Karen, anything else before we sign off?
Um,
You're good?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because when you were, Mary Therese, when you were talking about, jumping in the morning and doing your meditation and then seeing if you have to do any transfers, it seems that the more a person does it and just makes a habit of it, like you're saying, it can be actually exciting to go and see, oh, what's my profit looking like now, and how is this working, and I
Yeah.
hadn't thought of it as something that could be exciting, but it really
That's what I
can.
said. I love working with money, and it actually is exciting. And then I think, we're in the Northeast right now where it's freezing, and, maybe I can go on a little trip in the sun with some of this. Like, you get little ideas in your head, but yeah, it's very empowering. It really is.
Yeah, yeah, that's important for sure, for sure.
I have a question. Is it as applicable, say, to a solo practitioner as it is to somebody with employees?
Yes, for sure. Because I do apply it to, I've got a couple clients who are solo, and it's been a game changer for them because they were not being responsible at all, and they were treating their business as their personal piggy bank, and they are so thankful that they have this now because the one girl's like, this keeps me in line. I am so happy, and she sees the envelopes I created for her, and she knows that she can only touch that profit one, and it's really helped discipline her. Yeah, so yeah, single, it's totally fine.
Excellent.
Anything else? Any final thoughts from you, Mary Therese, now that you heard a few of our questions, or maybe if you want to share something personally, what you obviously had systems all along, because I know you're a money gal, but
Yeah.
you found this program a little bit later. Was there anything in particular that really got you going with this, or anything else you'd like to say
I
before
mean,
we sign off?
just get curious because you can make it work for you, and there's definitely ways to make money easier in your business. And I know sometimes that's a pain point for some people and people avoid it, but this helps make it a little bit more fun and rewarding. So I feel like take the leap and get educated on it. There's not only is there the book, there's things like me talking about it online, or there's little uh, Facebook groups that talk about it, that give tips and tricks on it. So it's not just a little phenomena. There's a lot of people that have implemented this and have had a lot of success. So,
Okay, great. So just I'll reiterate, please send Mary Therese any additional questions you may have, or contact her about other money matters, and make your money work for you. So thank you so much, Mary Therese. This has been great, and thank you for providing this for free for our readers. This is wonderful, and we hope to see you again.
great.
And I'll close as I always do by wishing all of our listeners and our readers good health, happiness, and continued inspiration. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.